Hello, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is going to be this Ted Williams 240 Sears Roebuck reel. And I guarantee you this thing was made by Shakespeare. It just has all the looks of being a Shakespeare reel. Anyway, we're going to get into it and get started on it and see what we find. By the way, it's fully functional. Everything on it works. Anti-reverse works. The drag works. The button clicks. So it's a nice little reel. So anyway, here we are. Let's get started on it. We're going to take off the rotor. Don't lose that lock washer. Okay, nothing really to see underneath except that there is a shim washer right there. Man, it's a thin one. Don't want to lose that. Okay, and okay, this is one of these. It's got the little spring. You take the spring, you bring it over here. Let me show you this. Okay, we're going to take the spring, we're going to lift it out here and put it behind that little keeper right there. And that should allow this to come off. And it does. And once you got it off, you can take and loosen it back up and let it fall back down. Okay. And that spring is going to go into that slot right there. And that's what's going to make this button stay up. Okay. Or rotor. That spring is going to hold when you rotate it. It's going to drop back in. Okay. So let's go ahead. Take out these 3 screws. Alright, all 3 of those are the same. It's going to lift out button and all. If we look at the button, okay, there's no spring or anything on this like there are on some. So this has no button or no spring holding it out. Alright, so let's take that off. Set it over to the side and let's see what we got up under here. Wow, that is a big drag clicker right there. That thing should be loud when it's got drag. Okay. All right, in order to take this axle shaft, hopefully it's going to come right out without, oh, it did, good. All right, and this is where that's going to, remember we talked about that shaft, that's going to sit on that wire, and as this rotates, it drops in and allows it to fly back up there. Okay, so that's the axle shaft, and yes, it moves freely. Okay, on there, so we know no need to take that apart. If you did need to take it apart, you can pull this down right here. Okay, and if you look, you got this little thing, I call it a hat channel because it's kind of shaped like a cowboy hat that fits up over that. You can just take that clip off and then this will slide right, but don't just let it go because it'll shoot up in the air. You'll never find it. But there's no need to take that apart because it's fine. If yours is fine, leave it alone. All right, we got it that far. Let's go ahead now. And I do not believe this is going to take this. It did, okay. Thought it was a little bigger. Okay, we're going to take off this nut. And that's going to remove this handle. And that's going to remove this drag knob. Okay. And everything just fell out of the inside of this. That makes it fun, doesn't it? When everything just falls apart and you didn't see how it went. See, that was like that. And this washer was like this. Okay. All right, and all that, it was in there like that. All right, so let's take this apart now. There's the spring washer right there. It's for our drag. And we got this sleeve here. We can go ahead and slide that out. All right, then we come to here, and we're going to let all this drop down to the inside, all in one piece, like that. And there we go. There's our anti-reverse up there. It's got a spring on it. And this is the anti-reverse dog right here. Okay, that's our clicker. And we take this off. Okay, there's our drag washer. And we take this off the front side. You'll see that we have another drag washer on the front right here. And this one is stuck. Now we got to be careful taking, if we want to take it off, we have to be careful taking it off because we can damage it because it's down in this hole. And you know, in reality, you don't need to. You just need it to be able to slip on either this surface or this surface. And since it's loose on this surface, then it can slide on that. So you don't really have to take it off of there. You can leave it alone. And there we have it. Okay, that one goes there. That one goes there. Okay, I think it's basically all apart, isn't it? Pretty simple reel. I'm going to clean it up real good and come back and we'll put it back together. Okay, we're ready to start putting things back together. The first thing we want to notice is that our anti-reverse up top and anti-reverse override is working. Let's put a little drop of oil here and a little bit here on the override. That'll help keep it from wearing. Now we're going to want to put all this back together into here. In order to do that, the way we'd want to do that is if in the event this was off, we would slide it onto here and then slide this together. Since it's stuck, we'll just leave it right there. And then we're going to put this drag washer here. And then we're going to put our anti-reverse cog on the back. And you want to make sure it's in that configuration. If you've got the teeth facing the other way, then your anti-reverse is not going to function properly. Okay, so now that we've got that in place, we can go ahead and grease this sleeve and slide it back up inside like that. With that in place, we can now grease this side for the inside of that. And if you want, you can put yourself a little grease down on the inside. Hold that bushing in place and let's slide this in like that. With that in place, we're going to want to put this drag washer, which is kind of dirty. Not really a drag washer, it's a spring washer for the drag, which technically then would make it a drag washer, but let's go ahead and put it on. It's keyed. There we go. And let's put the star drag back on. Let's tighten it down as much as we can get it for the moment. Okay. So that makes sure that everything is in there tight. Then we can go ahead and grease up the axle shaft. Now the reason I normally don't grease these axle shafts nor that crankshaft, but I think these reels are going to be sitting for a long time and I don't want the oil to dry up in them, so I'm using grease on them. Okay. Let's see about sliding this back in. And we've got to get, there we go, got the gears lined up. All right. That looks good. Let's apply some grease to the teeth on the gears. Put some on the axle shaft so that it stays moving freely. And at this point, it's really not going to hurt to go ahead and put the handle back on. So let's put that on. Star washer on. Nope, star washer didn't go there. Star washer goes under the head. There we go. Okay. Now with the handle on, we can really tighten this. There we go. Slide that back up. Now we're going to need to put the side plate and the button back on. So we'll slip the button onto the plate, slide it down here, get it in place, and set it up so that we can put the screws back in it. Okay, and note that the button doesn't stay down. Not supposed to yet. Don't get worried about that. Okay. I'm going to add just a tad of oil right here. Make sure that that's got good oil on it. Okay. And now we're going to put this spool back on. And notice it says down. Okay. So that's how it's going to go down like that. Put that in place, and we are going, oh, I got this on the wrong side. So bring it over, bring it down, and lock it into place, and make sure that that wire's in it. With the wire in, now see that the shaft stays up, and when you rotate it, it drops down. Pretty neat, isn't it? All right. Now, I thought this thing looked pretty clean, but it's got some rust on the inside. Not that it's rusty, it just has some rust on the inside, which is not the same thing. And there's another spot over there. Let's hit that one too. All right, now we're going to set the rotor back in place, put on the star washer, and tighten down the rotor nut. Turn the anti-reverse on. There it goes. Anti-reverse override. Works fine. Push the button. Spool goes up, or rotor goes up. Wind it. It comes down. The only thing I can't test is the drag, and that's because, and it is tightening just fine. So we'll loosen it up just slightly. Put this on. Tighten it down. There we go. There you have the Ted Williams 240 spincast reel, which I truly in my heart believe was made by Shakespeare. It just has every appearance of being a Shakespeare reel. And I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Tell me what you didn't like about it. For now, that's Rick Stivers with YoungMartin'sReels, signing out.